Hey everybody, Andy Hamilton of Trackwrestling, joined by 2016 NCAA champion, four-time All-American Nico Megaludis. Going to talk dynasty duels. Nico, thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it.
For sure, thank you.
Well, as we mentioned, the dynasty duels, we got first round matchup 2012 Penn State versus 2020 Iowa. You were part of the 2012 Penn State National Championship team. You were a true freshman then. You were coming into a program that's coming off a dominant 2011 season, really impressive 2011 season. And a lot of the key pieces in place going to 2012. What was it like stepping into that practice room when you got guys like David Taylor, Ed Ruth, the Alton twins, Frank Molinaro, up and down the lineup? You got guys that are putting points on the board and doing it in an exciting manner.
Yeah, I remember the first practice, we were playing a game. It started off playing a game, it was run and gun, and they were all still really good at that. And basically everything that they did, you know, they were good at and wanted to win. So that was kind of my first taste. But as far as competing with the guys, I mean, you go from high school, where my team was good, we cared about wrestling, but you go from high school where half the kids could care less to college at Penn State with these guys, and you just walked in, you saw the atmosphere in the room, how much they cared about wrestling, how much they wanted to be there. The work ethic, but a smart work ethic and willing to get better. You know, that's what I noticed a lot too. It wasn't always running yourself through a wall. It was getting better. And that was the big mindset, along with that just competitiveness. That competitiveness, I wasn't in many rooms. I mean, you're not in a room like that when you're in high school. You know, I don't care if you're in the best club team in the country or whatever it is. That competitiveness, I just remember, stuck out at me.
Was the plan all along when you were recruited to compete as a true freshman, or was redshirting, you know, an idea in your mind? How did that play out?
I didn't really ever want a redshirt. I thought I was never going to redshirt. I wanted to come in, compete right away, because I mean, I knew it was a big task at hand, right? I mean, you were throwing me out to the wolves with, you know, McDonough, Sanders, all those guys in the Big Ten at the time. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to compete my first year.
What enabled you to make such a quick adjustment to the Division I level in the Big Ten at 125?
I just think my tenacity. I don't care who I was stepping on the mat, whether it's now or 20 years ago or 8 years ago, I always expect to win. Even when I was wrestling those guys that were ranked 1 or 2 in the country, I really expected to win. I know most people say that, but I expected to win. I wanted to go out there and give every single second, just give my full effort, and I believed I could take them out.
You were 28-8 as a true freshman, the 10 seed going into the national tournament, and then you got on a roll there. It seemed like maybe a breakthrough moment in your career early on, where you beat Jared Sanders, an All-American, or Jared Patterson, an All-American. You beat Zach Sanders, the 2 seed, in the quarters, and then you reached the finals with a win against Frank Pirelli. What happened during that tournament? What adjustments did you make during that tournament to go from being a competitive true freshman to a guy that was winning a lot of high-level matches in that tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the matches I lost that year, except my match against Sanders. That was the one match I remember. We wrestled like second match of the year, and he beat me 6-2. It was the first match I ever stepped off. I looked at my dad after, and I was like, I actually got to get better to beat him. Because every match I've lost in the past was always a point or overtime or maybe 2 points, where it could have gone either way. But Sanders, it was a 6-2 match, but he controlled me. And I just remember from that point on, just like, I really got to get better. And then McDonough, he beat me in overtime in January, so I was of that year, I think it was, so I was right there. But the Nationals, I don't know what got into me. I mean, I just really think that I actually was out the week before. I got back from Big Tens and was a little bit run down and wasn't able to get on the mat for like 5 days. I remember I came back on the mat, I think it was Saturday or the Monday of NCAAs. I felt like Superman. I felt like I could take over the world. And when I was there, I don't know, I even remember looking at my dad after I beat Martinez first match and said, I'm going to win this thing. And I don't know, it was just, I was just ready to go.
You're part of several championship teams there. What made this one unique, the 2012 team?
Yeah, I mean, we had Molinaro, we had David, we had Alton, we had Ruth, we had Quentin, Cam Wade. Who else was on that team?
I think Frank Martellotti was a 33-pounder.
Yeah, Martellotti was there. I mean, top to bottom, I mean, we were just solid, and we had just so many big names. I mean, I don't know what made us stand out. I mean, because every team I've been on at Penn State, I guess you could consider to be in this dynasty duel. I mean, every team I was fortunate was pretty doggone good.
You graduated from Franklin Regional High School outside Pittsburgh. You're paired against another Franklin Regional grad in this dynasty duel, Spencer Lee. You guys both trained in the Young Guns Wrestling Club growing up. Tell me a little bit about your earliest recollection about Spencer.
Yeah, it was, I think when he was like 8, he was, I don't know, I'm what, 5, 6 years older than him. So at the time, you know, I'm like twice his size, and I saw this kid. I'm like, wow, he's pretty tough. I remember seeing him in the Franklin Regional Wrestling Room because he wrestled. He transferred to Franklin, I think his 8th or 9th grade year. I'm drawing a blank, but he was always around the Franklin program, you know, at Young Guns, and I remember him winning the Tulsa Nationals because I did that when I was young, and I think we both competed in that tournament together. I was probably in the 15 and under division, and he was in the 8 and under division. You know, I was probably 13, he was 8, and he won. I think he killed everyone, and that's when I got to know. I was like, this kid's pretty good. And then I think I really started to know when he started going to Super 32s, and he was in 7th or 8th grade, and was kicking butt there too. You know, so.
How have you seen his wrestling evolve during his days in college?
Yeah, I mean, Spencer's always been good. He, you know, ever since I've got my hands on him from day one, I mean, you could get into certain positions, and his hips are pretty good. He's pretty strong, and he does got pretty good hips, and he can get out, maneuver out of certain things. I always just felt his feel for the sport was, I mean, better than most people. I think it's that way still. He's very knowledgeable. He's very smart in his positions.
Iowa's lineup for 2020 has another Franklin Regional grad, Michael Kemerer. What do you remember about Michael? What are your early recollections of him, and you know, as he's come up through the Young Guns Club and then Franklin Regional as well?
I still call him Mikey. You know, that's what I have on my phone, Mikey. He is honestly one of the just most down-to-earth people I know. I really, like, I'm in financial planning. If Mikey wanted to come and join our team, I'd hire him in a heartbeat. You know, he's just one of those guys where he's just a good person. He does what he says he's going to do. That's just what I always remember about him. I talked to him actually probably 6 weeks ago. I had a question for him, and this was even before his Big Tens. It was something on my end. And he took the phone call right away and was happy to answer a question for me, which is kind of, and I knew it was like a couple weeks before, so I didn't want to, you know, bombard him, but he was happy to take my call, and I can't say enough. Great family too. They still live in Murraysville. I know them. I see them a lot actually. So.
The cancellation of the postponement of the Olympic trials, the Olympic Games. What does that do for you? I mean, you were going to be out for 2020. What does it mean for you? Are you going to be able to give this one more go in 2021? What do things look like in terms of your rehab and your wrestling career moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing everything right. I know at the end of the day that I'm doing everything right now, and I'm going to keep doing that, keep getting stronger in certain areas, and I feel really good. My technique has gotten better. I've gotten better over the years, and I think especially down at a weight class where I think I can outmuscle these guys around a little bit too, will help me out. I know I'm really looking forward to it and kind of seeing what life has in store for me. Like I said, I feel really good, and I'm excited to compete. This year would have been too soon. I already rushed it back. Almost, I knew people didn't tell me, but in the position that I was in, it was almost impossible. I didn't think of it that way, and then it didn't work out. But now with the postponement, I got some time.
Hey, Nico, thank you so much for your time and your insight. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing how these duels go.